the rock formations, and you get that edging into the ice pack. Probably fell right off of the glacier behind it. Or that one of these two. Argentina has a claim against, I think, 40% of Antarctica. Not recognized by the consolidation, but it is a claim. And they maintain a presence here to verify that claim, including having, I think, the only berth in Antarctica. Well, is this a paradise or what, folks? What a scene around here, huh? Enjoying it? There's a lot of editing to do to get this thing cut down to an hour and a half of film. But we'll work on it with your help. So we came down this Gerlacht Strait last night, and we've been coming into Paradise Bay for about the past hour, I think, or more. At a pretty good rate, also. And that's Paradise Bay. Right there. And this is the Arctic Peninsula we're on. In the Gerlacht Strait.
They came in to do the changeover here and take the old party off, and they didn't have a doctor to leave here. So they asked the doctor to stay here for another year, and he said he didn't want to, and they said, well, you just have to. So the ship took off, did the changeover, and then they looked back to the ship and they found the place was burning down. He burned it down.
The doctor?
Yeah, burned it down to get on.
I mean, he was going to be the only one left there, or there was a crew there?
No. It would have been, he would have spent 2 years there.
Oh my goodness. And he had already spent
1 year.
1 year.
So a thing of beauty that we see here today looks beautiful to us.
Right.
Over a long period of time becomes a thing of ugliness.
You mean the station?
The surround. So if you get up and you see this every day,
sure.
I mean, you'd be horribly sick of it.
You could, yeah, that was your psychological deterioration, huh?
Sick of it.
Now, it's occupied.
Not yet, but we're hoping to make a landing there and conquer.
Just got the food and that on it.
I know this. Don't.
Down in the areas that we're going to, but it does often being very, very gray. Because they don't seem to like their predators out.
Well, anyway, it just doesn't seem very likely. So, if that years, or a little less, say 275 million years, to about 100, and that'll keep them warmer. If you have big continents like Pangaea, then the center gets insulated and the storms don't get inside out in the ocean. And by 300, we find evidence of glaciers here at that time. Then it moved up into North Africa in 340 million years, and then down into Antarctica at 310 million years. And this is when, at this 310 million year time, is when we had all the great coal deposits in Europe. He came in repeatedly, and these can be matched. Some people think they can be matched with these orbital changes. You know, the and of course the models just can't explain that. Now, the way I did this was to put a series of maps, and this is Gondwana land with Antarctica here in the center. Here's the South Pole right here. It shows you the distribution of things. And we have, these are the distributions of glacial deposits that we found. South Pole, there were trees growing, and they had a lot of early growth, early wood. You know, they must have grown very quickly in the spring, and then by fall they shut down, they dropped their leaves. That's why we find all these leaf mats. Saurus, and it's a skeleton. But the skeleton has been scavenged by other animals, and they moved the bones. Now, If any of you have been out, there's a large crocodile-type animal here called a thecanop. That's the ancestor to the dinosaurs. And we found one bone of that. And we found another horizon about 1,000 feet up in the rocks, and we've set up a camp here.
We try and stay 25 feet away from them. Again, just not to disturb them. And again, stay away from between them and the water. Try not to make a big circle around the animals either. With the fur seals, if we should go to any landing sites where there are fur seals, we'll point them out. We give them at least 50 feet. Because they can move a whole lot faster than us, especially when we're all up in 7 or 8 layers of clothing. And they can be quite aggressive, especially this time of year. So we'll point out the fur seals. They got big fangs. What do we have?
Have had any attack by any animal?
We haven't, no. One or two staff members have been chased by them. And there's a couple of landings we won't be going to on this trip, but there's one in South Georgia. The small island, which is the only place that the wandering albatross nest. And if you get a large group of birders, they're all going to want to go there no matter what. And it'll just sort of tend to keep them away from you. So all the staff stand there like this with the poles while all the birders trudge on through and up on top of the hill where they can see the wandering albatross. Plants, for example, by walking, driving, anything that might be in the guano, any kind of disease or anything, back on the ship and into another landing site. It's quite possible you could bring something that's foreign to the next landing site in and it may cause problems. Respect protected areas.
Ladies and gentlemen, I realize that you are all deep into briefings about wildlife and conduct and talking to the dining room with Jim. But we've got several whales off the bow of the ship straight ahead. And we've got time. We've spotted them in the distance. We've got time to get out on the bow and have a look at them.
Whales.
One surface right over here, right straight ahead a minute ago. Well, you know, I just had to get my phone. But my tree would have to be gone.
Let me see if I can pull a little farther there. Muscles around their nose here, and they can actually physically close their nostrils while they're swimming and diving. Very strong muscles that contract, so they can dive very deeply and not get water up their nose. Kind of an important thing if you've ever swum and get water. I call it Weddell, some people say Weddell. Both correct pronunciations are acceptable. I think I've listened. Oh, some terminology we should go over before we go farther on, so you know what I'm referring to when we refer to some of these terms. I want to make sure I have them complete and correct. A herd is a group of non-breeding seals. These rather long flippers here, if they get overheated with this nice...
Did you let him go?
He did in fact let him go, but oftentimes they will kill them, but just from playing. They have found in their feast, there's several studies going on, diet studies going on these animals. Unlike penguins, crab eater. You'll notice that they have a much longer snout than some of the other seals that we'll be looking at. And they have kind of like a happy smile. It's common when you see a seal that's hot, they will foam through the nose like that. Why they do it exactly, I don't know, but it is very common to see when seals are dried out, their fur is no longer wet, and they're sitting up on land. I don't know if they actually have a cold, and maybe that's why they're sitting up on land. I think that's maybe anthropomorphizing a little bit, but most on them are leopard seals. This is appearance with those spots that we saw in the earlier photograph. Weddell seals, it's really common to see them do this in snow areas. They'll actually chew up the fresh snow, and then they'll swallow it. I assume that they're using it to get these, nice scars. This is a young male. He's not yet 8 years old because he doesn't have a fully mature nose. So we would call these a fight very...
62 miles.
These are all the flag cubby holes up here. All the different names. Oscar.
Is it?